Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Commando Show podcast for the weekend of July 27th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's hour one.
I always like to start the show with something fun and interesting. And when I ran across the story, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell them all about this. Okay, a couple in New Jersey, they were just sitting back, relaxing, having a few cocktails at home, when suddenly they heard their Tesla's car horn just blaring outside. So they ran, and then they saw that the car's window was smashed in with fish scales all over the windshield. Oh my gosh. And guess what? There was a dead fish just lying right there on the hood. Oh my. Oh, they checked their Tesla's camera and they saw that the fish had fallen from the sky. What? Flying fish? Who throws a fish at a car? Who would do that? Well, then they realized, oh, wow, this is so great. They had an eagle's nest in their backyard. So apparently the eagle was just flying around, dropped its dinner right on the car. Boy, and think about that. An eagle has so many skills, so many skills. They're very talented. Ooh, all right. That one is worthy of passing along. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Commando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again to make sure that you are tech ahead, because if you're not, that means we're going to be left behind. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find me on over 420 top stations from coast to coast. And of course, we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. Funny how that works. And now you can get the Kim Commando Show as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search again for my last name. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. I just love this. Serving in 175 different countries, we have 375 service members that are also listening to the show on 200 ships at sea. Now, here's the deal. Great sponsors help to make this show possible, and they help pay for all the work that goes on behind the scenes. And so I always negotiate these money-saving deals, exclusive deals just for you, dear ones. And so you can find it all out and get the promo codes over at commando.com/sponsors. That's commando.com/sponsors. Alrighty then, every single day I go to at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date with what's going on in the tech-verse. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that are happening right now. And I'm sure you heard about it, CrowdStrike. Yeah, it was a routine software update that took down the banks, the hospitals, air traffic control, the airlines, 911, police fire, and who knows what else. Okay, CrowdStrike controls the cybersecurity on almost every single major computer system, government or private. It's everywhere. Our lives are dependent upon it. Now, CrowdStrike has come out and said, well, it was an update that failed in the quality control protocols that we sent down to 8.5 million Windows PCs, and now we're trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again. All right. This was no small mistake. It cost companies billions of dollars. Insurers have been calculating all the damages. They say it's going to cost Fortune 500 companies $5 billion at least. Smaller companies, we don't even know yet. What about Delta? They are still in trouble. Thousands of flights canceled across the board. Wow. And Delta, if you were affected, they're going to give you like 10,000 miles to your mileage account. Like, I think it should be just a little bit more. 10,000 miles is probably like, a one-way ticket between, say, Atlanta and Dallas or something like that. Now, the CEO has been asked to testify before Congress. This is a big, big deal. Oh, I don't know if you heard. But they actually, CrowdStrike, they actually went out and they said, oh, for all of our team members and our partners, we're going to give you a $10 Uber Eats gift card. What an insult. All right, moving on to number 2. If you have kids, young kids, grandkids, you may have heard about Mr. Beast. He's an internet sensation. He's gone viral, I don't know how many times. He has 305 million followers, more than any other YouTuber. He's huge. Okay. Now, you may not know that Mr. Beast has a co-host. Ava Chris Tyson has been with Mr. Beast since 2012, making videos, say that they were best friends, and the kids always love her too. So the reason why I'm bringing all this up is that Ava Chris Tyson was tossed out of the Mr. Beast whole big universe after allegedly sending risque messages to a child. Gross. A YouTube video took a look at all the online interactions between Tyson and this minor, and it went viral this past week. They talked about sex, nude pics, and anime porn. Yes, anime porn. Tyson started chatting with the victim when they were 13. She was actually 20. She met up with him in real life when this child turned 16. Now, Tyson has apologized. She said, I didn't groom anyone. I was just being a little edgy. Just a little edgy. That's what it was. Yes. Meanwhile, Mr. Beast says, I have seen enough online, taking immediate action to remove Ava from the company. Well, yeah, he had to. Moving on to number 3. This is really something. Today, hundreds of millions of websites depend on Google to provide them with a steady flow of visitors and advertising dollars. And they are in big trouble. Just a year ago, you might remember a Google search would give you a website to click on. You could find your answers, buy things. But now a staggering 60%, oh my gosh, of all Google searches never leave Google. Why? Because Google AI is giving you the answer right there. It's called zero-click search. People have no need to go any further. Website ad revenues are down drastically as fewer and fewer visitors are seeing the ads. And I'm telling you this, and I've said this for now 2 years, the age of the website is coming to a close right before your eyes. Meanwhile, the guy who owns the domain milk.com, he says that if you don't have $10 million to give him that domain, he is not even interested in talking to you. Hey, buddy, you ought to take $1 million right now and just walk away. Number 4 on our list of 5 things that you need to know is very disturbing. I don't know why anybody would do this, but apparently there are many people who buy diet pills online, specifically on eBay. A guy goes to work, he took a random drug test, it was no big deal, but his test came back positive for meth. And he's like, I don't do meth. How could that even be possible? Turns out he bought diet pills on eBay, thinking they were from a legit brand, Belt Labs. He saw other complaints about the same issue in eBay reviews, people testing positive for meth. He reported to the FBI. FBI bought the pills, tested them, bam, tested positive for meth. Another diet pill brand, FenQ, has the same problem. And apparently, the FBI also found other weight loss drugs that had DNP, a chemical used in herbicides, dyes, and wood preservatives. So, if you remotely think it's a halfway decent idea to buy diet pills on eBay, don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Finally, this, coming in at number 5, there's this big cybersecurity company by the name of KnowBe4. And they specialize in training folks on how to spot phishing and scams and cyber threats and, all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, they needed to hire a guy. So they did a background check. Everything was just like, wow, this guy's fabulous. It's going to be so good for us. So when they mailed the employee a company-issued Mac to the guy's phony home address, that was really a hacker farm. Okay, that's what it is. It was immediately loaded up with malware and software that would infiltrate KnowBe4 and possibly their clients' systems. So they dug a little deeper. They did not hire an American IT worker. They hired, wait for it, a North Korean hacking gang. My gosh. So one of the tools that he used to get through the HR screening was, you ready for it? An AI-edited stock headshot. Something they should have checked and knew before they hired the guy. All right, coming up, we have, of course, your great phone calls, but just take a listen. We're going to talk about 5 places that you're being recorded, how you can get a copy of what Apple knows and tracking about you, some clever ways to save money when you're shopping online, and of course, how could you forget? You also get me, Kim Commando. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, let's get started with Jane in Dallas, Oregon. Hello there, Jane.
I have been listening to you since forever and a day, way before Ian was born, too, I think. And
wow.
I so appreciate how your knowledge has expanded as technology has expanded. I think initially you just gave all kinds of tips and hints, and now you can help me with something much more technical and scary, like my daughter's phone being cloned.
Oh, what's going on?
Well, she was in a somewhat abusive, well, not somewhat, a very abusive stalking type of relationship with a gentleman who unfortunately passed in this May, and she is trying to rid herself of all aspects of that relationship, and she really does feel like her phone has been cloned, that he was a responsible party. She's got an Apple iPhone 12 mini, and and the reason I'm calling is because this is so emotional to her. She gets so agitated and everything. So I'm trying to.
Oh, you know what? And you know what, Jane? You're a mom, okay?
Yes.
Mama Bear is here. Watch out.
Yeah. So the things she reports that she feels are very suspicious is it frequently freezes and the battery dies down really quickly. And she repeatedly gets locked out of her email accounts. She's had to change her email accounts. She got subscribed to various YouTube stations that she never did. She found Pegasus was added to her phone. Her password would get changed without her knowledge. And she was just up here visiting from Tucson last week, and her son has an iPhone also, and she noticed that the location of her phone always showed Tucson, while her son's iPhone would show the location of where they actually were, probably for the cell towers. And she didn't know if that was
there's some. Now, has any of this stopped since the guy died months ago?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really ask her that question. She just feels like things have still been a little
still there,
suspicious.
Oh, well, and you mentioned Pegasus. Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot going on here. Okay.
Yeah.
And, it's definitely sounds like her phone has been cloned. Who knows with him passing, who has possession to that phone and his laptop, computers, whatever it may be, what he has access to, what he used to have access to that maybe somebody else has access to, up to and including, getting into her router and then seeing everything that's on her network and controlling it from that side. So anytime something like this happens, especially in a like you said, a controlling relationship, domestic violence, whatever it may be, that's where you have to truly sever all ties. Okay. What that means is, like you mentioned, Pegasus. Well, there is a tool that she can use to detect if Pegasus is actually on her phone, and it's put out by Amnesty International. And we can give you a link to that. But that's just one little crumb. That's all we're talking about, right? So what I would recommend, especially because now you mentioned you have a grandson, she has a son, we want to make sure that his safety is paramount.
Right.
At her house, I would recommend that she do a complete factory reset on anything that's digital, meaning let's start at the router, because he may have enabled remote access into the router that would give him access to everything on the network. And then whatever passwords that she has, open her browser, and then she can look at every account on her iPhone or on her Mac, whatever it may be. And then she can see wherever she had accounts, and then she needs to, I would even delete every account that was there. rather than just changing the password, I would delete it. And I know you said she had to get email addresses multiple times. Well, this is going to be yet another time. Lock down her phone. Also put a security pin on her phone that requires a 4-digit from her directly, not through text message or through an authenticator app that will be on her phone, so that this way she knows her phone is completely locked down. I mean, there's a lot of steps here, a lot of steps.
Yeah. Okay.
And doing factory resets on anything that she can do. And replace the SIM card in her phone. I would probably get you know what I would do? I would reset the router. I would get rid of every account that I had, get a new phone number, and just start with a whole clean slate. That's what I would do.
Okay.
And that I would do it with the kid too.
Okay.
And say, this is just the way that it is. Sorry. I know you like your Snapchat avatar handle, whatever it may be, and Instagram, but, you know, our safety is paramount because you don't know where that phone is or who has access to it. But the fact that she's in Oregon and it still says she's in Tucson, there's some monkey business going on.
Okay.
If you want me to, I'm happy to talk to your daughter too, by the way. I know you said she gets upset and agitated, but, you know, if at any point along the way where you're like, you know what, why don't you talk to Kim? Jane, I'm here for you.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Okay. So start there. And if there's anything that you want to talk about further, you want me to talk about with her, we also have some tips on the website. Just search for the word divorce. Or you can also search for domestic violence, because we've got a lot of resources there to help kind of break those tech connections, because, you know, they're far and deep. And especially when somebody's safety is concerned, we want to make sure that everything is taken care of. Once again, Jane, just want to reiterate, I'm here for you and your entire family always. All right, so in case you're wondering, yes, Google tracks you, and so does Apple. And you can get a copy of everything that Apple knows about you, like your usage information, anything that you've purchased or downloaded from the App Store, iTunes, books, your browsing history, data that you store with iCloud, such as your contacts, your calendars, your notes. I'm talking about the whole shebango. But here's where you need to go for that. Privacy.apple.com. Privacy.apple.com. May take a while if you've been on an Apple device for a long time. Once again, that's privacy.apple.com. All right, still to come, 5 places that you're being recorded right now here on the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. You know, so many people are shopping on Shein and all those other cheap Chinese apps. And one thing that you may not consider is that maybe the clothes could be causing you cancer. What? Yeah, I have that research coming up here on the Kim Komando Show. And before we get to that and more of your phone calls, you know, I'm cheap. Let me just say it right up front. I'm cheap. You know what I think what happens is when you're on the brink of bankruptcy, as I was in my early 20s because I was starting a business, it's like suddenly it's like, wow, I never want to live on ramen noodles again. So here's how you can save some money when you're shopping online. The site called Camel 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 shoots you an email anytime something drops in price. You just create the account, drop in the Amazon URLs, and you set custom options like only alert me when it drops below a certain price. Now, Honey is something that I use all the time. I mean, it's basically when you're shopping online, it'll drop in those promo codes. Love that. And then finally, Visual Ping. It monitors specific web pages for changes, which could actually be a price change. So you might want to tap into that. And in case you're wondering, like, oh, what are those names again? Camel, Camel, Camel. I know. Makes total sense, doesn't it? Let's name it that. And then you want to use Honey and then Visual Ping. And if you need any links for any of these, just hit the website at commando.com and type in any one of those. And I'm sure this tip will just pop right up for you, free for the taking. Aside from my show here, I host a wildly popular podcast called Kim Commando Today. Now, it gives me a chance to dig deeper into stories that are making up the news. Like, so for example, you may remember last October, there was news about a 14-year-old gal, Elliston Berry. She woke up and then suddenly her phone was blowing up because there were nudes of her being posted all over social media. And so she went to her mother. She's like, what's going on? What's going on? And these are all deep fakes. They're deep fakes. It was on Snapchat and social media websites. And so I had a chance to actually sit down with Elliston and her mom. Take a listen. So take us back to that day, Elliston. Beautiful name, by the way. Love your name.
Thank you. It was just a normal Monday for me. I had just began high school and it was October. So it was fresh with football and volleyball. And I was just a normal 14-year-old on a normal Monday when I had woken up to my phone blowing up from my friends telling me that these photos of her and I were going around. And she had sent me a collage of her and I's edited photo and then both of her and I's original photo to kind of support the fact that they were edited and they were fake. But it was absolutely terrifying to going through the day.
Yeah, and you know, it's so easy to make these. I mean, there's AI nudify apps, right? I mean,
Yes.
And so you see these photos, Elston, of you. I mean, you must have been horrified.
I was terrified. It was so scary, especially so early in the morning, and I had a full week ahead, and it was totally out of my control. And I was just shocked to know that these images were going around and I had no idea. And I had no idea who was behind it and who would do such a thing.
So once you saw the pictures and you're communicating with your friend and getting all the messages, what do you do then? Now you know that these are out there. What's your first step?
Well, if I'm being honest, I kind of had a breakdown because I was just so scared.
For sure.
Absolutely. We all would have.
I would have too.
I went and immediately told my mom. I knew that she would at least do something about it, and she did. Throughout the day, my mom was at the school, and by second period, I was giving my statement to the police officer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Gretz, you know what? Mom, you're smart.
Yeah, way to get right into action.
Well, it's a helpless feeling because I didn't know what to do. You know, we're on a whole new plane now. So, I mean, the only thing I need to do is to just go tell people and be like, we've got to get help.
And then what did the police say? What did they do?
Well, that first day, I don't think they really took us that serious. I mean, they were like, well, they're fake. And I'm like, no, they are fake. But if you look at them, if you were a predator, you wouldn't know the difference. This app that he used took their bodies and just stripped the clothes off of them. So it's their bodies, it's them. And so it was very scary looking at those pictures. I mean, I knew that they were fake, but like I said, if you're just a predator, you're looking for child porn, you know, you're going to look at that and not know any different. That's the scary part about it.
Now, did the school jump into action?
No, they didn't really know what to do with it either. The kid had started sending them out from home. So they weren't on school Wi-Fi. So there was no way to really catch him necessarily. So that first day, they just I felt like they kind of just drugged their feet. They didn't really do anything. And by Tuesday, he had done more pictures and he had targeted more of their friend group. So by Tuesday, we had more pictures circulating, more girls involved in it. And then he also started when he would send out the snap and on Snapchat, and then you would get, if you accepted it and then you got all the pictures, people were asking him questions like, why are you doing this? Why would you do this? This is terrible. And so his response was, I want to go out with a bang. I want to ruin the girls. I'm suicidal. So now you got it stepped up a whole nother level. Now they're fearful for their life. So of course, all of us parents went straight back to the school again. And I think by that point, they were made to do something. So they started interviewing kids, trying to figure out who it could be.
Now, at what point of the process did you guys find out who was creating the pictures and sending them?
Well, that Friday. So
Okay.
this kind of went on all week long, kind of terrorizing the girls. Every day, new pictures, that kind of thing. And then on that Friday, the girls decided to go back to school. We had taken them out of school. And so that Friday, some of them are athletes like Ellis. And so in order to play in the volleyball game on Friday night, she had to go to school. So they go that Friday, and by second period, the school goes into lockdown for some reason. The alarms go down, complete lockdown. And we're thinking, the girls are calling us on their phones. Is he here? Does he have a gun? Is it a bomb? What
a nightmare.
We just felt like totally targeted. But what happened during that time was that he went onto the school Wi-Fi and started sending out pictures from his account. And so the tech department at the high school was able to catch him.
Now, the creators of these deep fake nudes, they really have little to no consequences for their actions. So now Ellison and her mama, Anna, are now on a mission. They're working with Senator Ted Cruz alongside other senators for a bipartisan bill. It's called the Take It Down Act to stop the spread of revenge porn and AI deep fakes. So the act would give penalties to anyone if they don't remove the images. I'm talking about tech companies, social media companies, perpetrators. And right now, there are no such laws in the United States. So if you want to listen to the entire chat, what you can do is wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando Today, as well as this is actually a video podcast too, Kim Komando Today on YouTube. Just head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right. Wherever you go, you're being recorded. But here are 5 unexpected places that really could be watching you. Number 1, your Uber or Lyft. Many rideshare drivers have these cams inside recording both audio and video. If you live in a one-party consent state, they don't need your permission. Number 2, the ATM. Not a total shocker, but it does capture this big wide-angle view. 3, a lot of workplace break rooms have cameras, to see what's going on in there. Streetlights are becoming more and more common to have cameras built in to take a look at traffic and also public safety. And finally, the movie theater. Why? Because there are pirates in the mist. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Jacob in Roanoke, Virginia. Hi there.
Yeah, so I just started a new position with a roofing company, and I'm now in charge of all our social media. And my Facebook account is now linked to the business account. And about a month ago, I believe my Facebook got hacked as I was getting weird comments on there. And then they shut my Facebook down completely. And the screen now says your Facebook account was suspended because your Instagram account doesn't follow our rules. But they have an Instagram account listed that is not mine. So that's why I think I got hacked.
Yeah, you did. You did. It's such a nightmare, isn't it? Oh.
Yes, it is. It is. And I just trying to figure out how to get in contact with Facebook to tell my story so I can get it back online.
All right. So I assume that you've gone through all the help channels by now, right?
I have, and it seems like some of them were real and some of them were not in service anymore. But I've messaged Facebook everywhere I could find. I've messaged Instagram. I've exhausted everything I know, and I haven't yet to get a response.
Yeah, here's the deal. It's like Facebook just doesn't care. They don't,
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I probably get at least 25 to 50 requests for help to get a Facebook account every single week. It's just a nightmare. Now, Meta does have some things. There are some things that you can try. First of all, Meta has something called Meta Verified, and you pay $15 a month. And really, it's designed to give you that much coveted blue check mark. But I have heard from some people that you may be able to actually speak to a human being if you do sign up for Meta Verified for your business.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
And the other thing, and this is going to sound really nutso, really crazy, is that I read a story about a woman by the name of Valerie Garza, and she owns a massage business in San Diego. And so her Facebook account was hacked. And she tried everything that she could to get this account back. I mean, she worked on this for, I don't know, I think almost a year, until finally she got so frustrated that she went down to her local small claims court and she filed a lawsuit against Meta, saying that Meta caused her to lose her personal account, her business account. She lost all this money, and she documented the thousands and thousands of dollars in losses after having her account hacked. So she goes into the courtroom, and guess what? She wins. And she got Meta's attention that way. And so it might just be something that, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, if you are really, really bent on getting this account back and then not asking anybody else, not wanting to actually start a new account, is that some people are finding success. There's actually a whole Reddit forum about this. It's quite fascinating about the steps that you can take to actually sue Meta to get your Facebook account back. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is in a future current newsletter, that's our free newsletter, by the way, that you can sign up for over at getkim.com. I'll go ahead and give you some links for you to check out on some people that have actually successfully sued Meta to get their Facebook account back. Now, you would think a huge public company with billions and billions of dollars and all kinds of resources that they would have a better way in order to prevent the hacking from the onset. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So, be careful where you click, make sure that your account's locked down, all that good, happy stuff. But try the Meta Verified, $15 a month, and also take them to court. Let's see, Ed in Springfield, Missouri. Welcome.
You wrote about that program where people, companies send us lousy stuff in the mail. And, what I do is I give them good review. Well, sorta. I mean, I like to have fun with those other idiots. And for about 5 weeks, I was getting stuff, mainly women's clothes. I called the U.S. Post Office about it and found out that if I didn't order it fraudulently, that if they just sent it to me, that I could keep it like I really wanted to. And I'm a straight male, and I wanted to stop since it was mostly women's clothes, and I don't cross-dress. And there was phony reviews for this stuff on Amazon. And I got those taken down, and then I put my fun ones on. The first item was what I would call Daisy Duke shorts, that really. And I would.
Oh, Ed, I know you look hot in Daisy Duke shorts. Who are you kidding?
Oh, I know it. I've got the package to show it. And I was thinking about how I could do a really good review on them. So I said that I was walking outside and such, and that the inside seam busted out, and I was left hanging all out. And I also mentioned that quality was poor. I mentioned repeatedly that quality was poor with all of the items. They had ripped seams, busted zippers, and more. I mentioned that some of the stuff that ripped was like 2 sizes larger than I normally wore, and they sent me this bra.
So the whole goal is so that they stop sending you, because this is a brushing scam, and so they. So these companies mail you a whole bunch of junk, whatever it may be, and so that this way you hop online and you can leave a great review because you're a verified buyer, and that's an interesting. It's an interesting tactic, Ed. It's an interesting way for you to deal with this is to leave some very artistic reviews. Artistic reviews. I think that's what we're going to say. Brushing scams. Oh boy. Hey, listen, they are spreading. And so if by chance you happen to get some free stuff in the mail, just know that they're really sending you this so that this way you can leave some type of review. Not the review that you're leaving, Edwin. They're probably hoping for something a little bit better than that. But yes, as you said, with the post office, you get to keep what you didn't order, but shows up at your doorstep as an order from Amazon. Okay, we will just take anyone's call here on the Kim Komando Show. Oof, yes. Hey, if you think you're getting great deals by buying all this Chinese junk online, you could be putting your health at risk. I'm talking about maybe Shein, the world's largest online fashion retailer. I don't know about fashion, by the way. But what has it done to gain such a title over Amazon? Well, it sells clothes really cheap, like $2 shirts, a $25 wedding dress. Well, the reason why the clothes are so cheap is that they're made with toxic chemicals. Yes. Authorities inspected 93 Shein products and found that half contained toxic chemicals that can mess with your hormones and potentially cause cancer. A pair of shoes had over 400 times the legal limit of these chemicals. Wow. So check your clothes. Drop a bead of water on the fabric. If it stays beaded up, rolls around, leaves no residue, you have a problem. Return it if you can. If you can't, just throw it away. Hey, just a quick reminder, make sure that you enter to win that $1,000 vacation giveaway card. Hey, I know you need a vacation. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your face. Enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, this is something. Minnesota just passed this wild new law that's really just straight out of the Jetsons. Starting on August 1st, flying cars will be classified as vehicles. That's right. They're going to have tail numbers instead of license plates, and they have to follow all the FAA rules when they're up in the air. But on the road, they're just like a regular car, except they can fly. Oh my gosh, a flying car. Oh, here's one for the kiddos. What do you get when you mix a car, a pet, and a fly? Okay, you can tell this one to the kids. What do you get when you mix a car, a pet, and a fly? Anybody? Anybody? A flying carpet. Yeah, I know. That was bad, but you loved it anyway. After all, I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here to make sure that you get tech ahead, because if you're not, you're going to be left behind. And you can find my award-winning show. It's the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital, and over 400 top stations from coast to coast. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. Just search for my last name, Komando. All right, this show is going to be a little different. This is normally where I bring you up to date with the top 5 things happening in the tech space. But today, just one thing, BCIs, brain-computer implants. Imagine you were paralyzed from the neck down, or maybe you're diagnosed with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, or you woke up in incredible pain, or suddenly you were blind. Well, that's where Elon Musk's company, Neuralink, wants to tackle these devastating health conditions with a computer chip brain implant. So Neuralink invented this device, no bigger than a quarter, placed inside your brain, powered by a lithium-ion battery. Very thin wires listen and talk to your brain cells. So a paralyzed person can just text by thinking about what they want to say. Now, Neuralink got cleared for approval last year with the FDA. So joining us here in the studios is Noland Arbaugh. He is a quadriplegic. He's paralyzed from a swimming accident, and he's the first Neuralink patient. In his brain right now is a brain chip implant interface that lets him control computers and other devices with his mind. Literally, he can control a cursor on a laptop screen. The future is here. So Noland, thank you for coming down to the studios. You're patient number 1 with a Neuralink BCI.
Yep.
The brain to computer interface. Interface. Yeah. What was that like, knowing that you were going to be patient number 1?
Yeah, it was all right. There were some pros and cons. I was excited. I mean, it's cool to be the first of anything. I think that drove me a little bit, at least. I was a little worried that maybe it wouldn't work. There would be some downsides to it because, the first of anything, you never know if it's going to work.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I always knew that I guess as we were going through the process, I knew that I wanted to be the first to test all of that out. I knew that if anyone was going to go through it, if anyone was going to experience the downsides of it, then I wanted to do that and take that on as much as possible to help people after me. So being the first was cool. I mean, it's exciting.
Now, was it a long surgery?
No, from what I understand, it was supposed to be between 3 and 6 hours long, but everything went so perfectly, it was under 2.
Wow.
It was really quick. Yeah.
Well, I guess I should back up. How did you even know, like, to apply for this?
Yeah.
And I mean, how did you even get involved?
Yeah. I didn't know anything about Neuralink when I applied. One of my buddies from college, he worked in the spinal cord field after college. He worked in a spinal cord lab, and he followed the Elon Musk sphere quite a bit. So he was just randomly Googling something about SpaceX, I think, and it had shown up that day that Neuralink had opened up the human trials. And so he texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to get a chip in your brain?" And kind of jokingly, I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Might as well." And so he called me on the phone and kind of gave me a 5-minute rundown of what Neuralink was about, what they were doing, what they were planning. And I said, "Sure, like I'll sign up. I'll apply for it." I had applied for trials in the past. I think maybe like 3 or 4 years prior, I applied for a massive database over the whole like North America, basically for spinal cord injury related, studies. And I didn't hear back from a single person for anything. So when I applied to Neuralink, I thought
it's going to be just another one.
There's no way. So I joked around on my application. I told them I wanted an Iron Man suit. Like I just, funny things. And then I heard back from them in like a day or two. And
did you really?
Just kind of a whirlwind. A month later, I was up here in Phoenix at Barrow's Neurological Institute getting a full day of like physical testing, brain scans, blood tests, urine tests, all, the whole 9. And I think 3-4 months after I applied, I was getting surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know.
Okay. So how did you become paralyzed?
Yeah. So, right after my senior year of college, I was 22. I was working at a summer camp up in the Poconos. And it was my day off. I was at a man-made lake, and if you imagine running into the ocean and you get to about waist deep water, the waves are coming in, then you kind of like dive under, a wave.
Sure.
That's all I did in the lake. It's not like I was jumping off any sort of like cliffs. I wasn't jumping high. I didn't like dive headfirst in anything. I just ran in the water with a couple of guys, and we all kind of dove in like that. I think I got hit in the side of the head by one of the guys that was with me. A stray hand, elbow, knee, foot, something, because I definitely didn't hit the bottom. The side of my head was sore for a few weeks, so I knew I got hit in the side of my head. I don't know. It was just kind of a freak accident.
Random
really.
accident,
Yeah.
freak accident there. Yeah, that's so tragic.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but I coped pretty well. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I kind of roll with the punches, so I actually immediately woke up face down in the water, and I knew that I was paralyzed. I tried to move and I knew I couldn't. And so I was holding my breath, and I just thought, what do I do now? And that's kind of how I've been the entire time with my accident. Just how do I move forward? What can I do to make my life better even a little bit? Get off a ventilator, try to get as much movement back as possible. Just things like that. And I think I've been really blessed to have a family and friends, massive, great support system that's really kept me going, and I've stayed fairly positive over the years, all things considered.
Well, you know what? You have a great attitude.
Thanks.
I mean, obviously, it shows through. I mean, and your warmth and your generosity, and what you wanted. I'm sure there are great things ahead for you.
Yeah, I hope so.
So you get this implant.
Yep.
Okay. And did it work automatically, or explain to us how it works?
Yeah, so the implant has 64 threads, and on each thread are 16 electrodes. The electrodes are placed near, in my motor cortex on the left side of my brain, in the right hand part of my motor cortex. And basically when the neurons fire, so the electrodes are placed, the threads and electrodes are placed near neurons, and when they fire, that records those whatever intentions that they are. So if I try to move my hand to the right, neurons fire, it picks up those signals, sends it to an application that Neuralink created, and they upload it on a computer. and I train algorithms. I train models. So a lot of machine learning. I train them to do exactly what I want. It's almost like calibrating a cursor on a computer screen. It tells you to move the cursor to the right, so you push to the right. It tells you to move to the left, you push to the left. I do that with the Neuralink, with the app and the algorithm, and over time it learns what I want to do, and then I can control the cursor.
So, Noland, we need to take a quick break, and I hate to do this to pay some bills around here. But next, I want to know more about how you're using the implant. If you're just now tuning in, we're speaking with Noland Arbaugh. He's the recipient of the first Neuralink. That's Elon Musk's brain chip interface that lets you control computers with just your mind. Now, Noland is paralyzed from a spinal cord injury resulting from a swimming accident. Now, we just talked about all the risk of being the first person to get the implant. So, Noland, let's pick up where we left off. So how long have you had the BCI?
A little over 5 months.
Is it getting better?
It is. It's still getting better every day. It's a lot of software tweaks on Neuralink's side. They're learning more what information is redundant, what they don't need. Some things that are obsolete that they thought might, help improve control that really doesn't. So they're constantly refining it. And so it's been getting better the whole 5.5 months-ish that I've had it.
What was like the biggest thing that you're able to do now that you were not able to do before?
What I keep telling people is it's something as simple as sending a text message. I just sent a text even the other day from my old computer while my Neuralink was charging, and one of my friends was in the room, and it took me about 10, 15 minutes to send the text, constant, like you were talking about Siri, sometimes understanding what you're trying to say.
Right.
It doesn't work. And so it would take me so long to even reply to one person. Now imagine trying to keep in touch with all of my friends, all of my family all the time. It's just not feasible. So now I can send a text in a couple seconds. It's super easy.
So tell us, how do you send a text now?
So I do it through the computer. I do it through the app. I have cursor control right now. That's just the first part of the study. So soon it'll be things like texting and different ways for the implant to understand what I'm trying to tell it, different words maybe. So right now I have a virtual keyboard that I control with cursor, and I have a dictation that Neuralink built specifically for me. And so I go on like a text messages on my computer through my phone, and I'll either use dictation or type with the cursor, little things here and there. It's super simple.
Okay, so we have some videos of you playing chess.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Explain to us what we're looking at right now.
So this is the calibration process, this one right here.
Oh,
so this is these bubbles. I will either follow the cursor to those bubbles, and then eventually it'll give me control of the cursor, and then I move the cursor to each bubble. And this was the first time I had actually ever gotten complete cursor control.
So everybody knows, what is the cursor?
What you move with the trackpad with the mouse.
Okay, yeah. And so you're thinking about moving the cursor?
Yeah, at first it started out with me attempting to move. So in my mind, all of this made a lot of sense at the beginning. It's a chip with threads that are implanted in my motor cortex. My signals in my brain still work. They're still firing.
For sure.
The signals just don't get down to my hand because there's a disconnect in my spinal cord. It's almost like if you were to have a strand of Christmas lights and one bulb halfway up goes out, then maybe the rest go out as well. It's not like that per se, but you can't send the signal through that broken part of the spinal cord. So all the signals work. So in my mind, it made sense. It's reading those signals. It's learning my intentions. So when I try to move my hand to the right, even though I can't physically do it, the signal is still there.
Gosh, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
It's
amazing.
You got to give Elon Musk credit. I mean,
yeah.
For a lot of people, including myself, I don't like Teslas or, because I'm not a big fan of the car, but what he's doing with SpaceX and Starlink.
I know, right?
Okay. I know. Did you see that it's about the size of an iPad now? You can carry Starlink around in your backpack.
I didn't. That's amazing.
Isn't it? I mean, So no matter where you are on the planet, and of course, it's the size of an iPad now, which means in a year it's going to be half the size, and it's going to keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yep.
And I know that with the Neuralink, he wants to someday, and this is where it gets controversial, is that to blend it with human consciousness and AI, which I could totally see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you?
Yeah, I can see it happening. I'm excited for that time. I know a lot of people have a lot of concerns, ethical concerns, things about that. My immediate focus is helping handicapped people. They're like, for me, just specifically, it's changed my life so much. It's made me more independent. It's helped me feel like I have a purpose and that I'm able to accomplish a lot more that I wasn't able to accomplish.
Okay, so you're a big Mario Kart fan.
I am. I love Mario Kart. I've been playing things like Nintendo my entire life, so I grew up a gamer.
And so now you're still playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, so what is in this video was one of the first weeks that I was using the implant. They physically, the Neuralink team was in my house, and they physically wired my computer up to a converting box and then to the Nintendo Switch. And so it translated my intention with the cursor into different movements on the Mario Kart controller. They have since taken that away from me to build a more robust system.
That's
where,
great.
Yeah, where I would be able to go and play on my own without them needing to be there. So they're working on that. But there's a lot of things that they're trying to do at once, and it's not a massive team.
How many people are on the team?
I don't know. With the people that I work with, I think maybe 10 to 12 that work with me directly. I talk to maybe 4 or 5 of them on a weekly basis. The rest are more in the background. But it's a pretty small team to be doing all of the things that I'm trying to do.
Have you made direct requests of them saying, okay, what if it did this? Could it do this?
Yeah, all the time. They're constantly asking my feedback. What would I like to do? Are there things that I can't do now that I wish I could do? Things like different games that I wish I could play, and what the gap is for them, what they need to do in order to get me there. So I'm constantly telling them things that I would like to do. I want to write a book at some point.
I was going to ask if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I do. I've always been into fiction and fantasy, so that was kind of my lane. But with all of this going on, I might as well.
It's 100%. You're just, because you're living it.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope to do that at some point, and we're working with things like sign language fingerspelling right now in order to get the typing to work. We're doing handwriting samples. We're doing speech to text sort of things, where I would just say words now to calibrate, but then think them in the future, so it would write out the whole word. I mean, so many different things in order to make this.
Just, isn't that wild?
I know. I think at the beginning of my journey, like I said, I was doing a lot of attempted movement. The day it clicked that I didn't need to attempt and I could just think things and make it happen, the world opened up to me, because I realized that the Neuralink could learn a lot more than I ever thought it was capable of. So I can think maybe even very complex ideas or concepts, and maybe at some point and someday it'll be able to understand those and translate them onto whatever I'm working with.
All right, Nolan, we need to take another break. But when we come back, I want to really talk about, do you think that your implant can get hacked? And really, it's a big question. Do you think you'll be able to walk again? That would be amazing. Let me tell you something. If you have not heard what we've just been talking about with Noland Arbaugh, you have missed out, really. Noland is the recipient of the first Neuralink. It's a brain chip interface that lets you control computers and other devices just using your mind. Noland has this implanted in his brain right now. He can control a laptop with his thoughts. And I'm super excited for the future of this technology. Remember, Noland, you're just the first person. Wow. I mean, like we talked about, it's exciting. It was scary. So I saw you playing video games, playing chess. Really remarkable. A lot of questions just popped up in my head. Now, have the folks at Neuralink, have they ever talked to you about whether or not it could get hacked?
Yeah, it's possible. But the more I talk with them about it, the more I did talk with them about it or think about it, there's not much that you would get from it. You would be able to read my neurons firing. You might be able to, hack the cursor and control my computer if I'm connected to it and you're close enough. Because
it'd have to be through Bluetooth.
Yeah, it's all
right?
So it's all through Bluetooth. So you'd have to hack it in that way, and then you could control my computer. I would just be able to shut my computer, turn off, like disconnect from the Neuralink, and all that would stop. I mean, there are a lot of ways that I just don't see why anyone would want to. You wouldn't get anything from it, so it doesn't make sense to me. So
it's kind of like, people are always concerned like their pacemakers or something else are going to get
exactly.
hacked.
Yeah, exactly. And the security is like the Neuralink team they're smart guys, and they have a really good security team around this, so I'm not worried about it.
Well, you know what? I am just so excited for you.
Thank you.
I really am.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
And I'm proud of you for doing this
Thanks.
because, when tragedy happens, there's a tendency sometimes people go in and just go into their own little world.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're doing is really going to have an impact in the future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have they talked about if they could actually make Neuralink move your hands, your physical hands, move your legs?
I think it's going to happen in my lifetime. I've seen some of the stuff they've put out previously in videos of some of their plans, and I've seen behind the curtain a little bit, and just experiencing this, I understand what it might be capable of. And so how it would work, at least at this point, is to implant a Neuralink in the brain, in, say, the motor cortex, and then implant one below the level of injury in the spinal cord, and then the two Neuralinks would just talk to each other and bypass that part of the spinal cord, and you would be able to move again. I think it's totally doable within my lifetime.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
And it's all because, of like Musk, thinking out of the box, right? I mean, it's saying, what if we can do this?
Yeah.
And, and now you are the patient one that, you took a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it might not have worked. Maybe it would have, maybe something with the robotic surgery could have gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But by you taking that risk, now they're learning. And as it goes along, and with the help of AI, it will be exponential.
Yeah.
And I believe you will walk. I really do. I believe that, is it going to happen tomorrow? No. But I believe probably within 10 years.
Yeah, optimistically, that's what I say, 10 years, maybe 20. But even if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, I know that by me getting this ball rolling, by all of us starting here, at some point in time, other people won't have to go through what I've gone through. Other people won't have to experience paralysis at all. I imagine a world where someone has a spinal cord injury, goes into a hospital, gets surgery, and they walk out a day or two later. No muscle atrophy, no negative side effects at all.
Once again, Noland, thank you for coming down to the studios. I know it's difficult to get around, obviously. And I want to say a big hello to your mom and dad, because obviously they're very dedicated to your well-being. It's such an honor to meet you, and I hope that you'll keep me posted on all your progress. I'm so incredibly proud of you, Noland. I really am. And I believe you're going to walk again. And I'm going to include you in my nightly prayers along with your family. And again, thank you again for being here. Now, there's more to this conversation that we had during the breaks. And so if you want to listen to the entire conversation that I have with Noland, as well as we have a full video, is that if you want to get the audio version, wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando today. And then, of course, if you'd like to watch the video, super easy, just head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. Once again, that's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right. AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini, they can answer all your questions and help you with all kinds of tasks like writing emails and essays and coding. If you need a recipe, you can do that. You can just say, here's what I got in my refrigerator. Tell me what I can make. Not sure what to wear for a job interview. I mean, the bots are there to help us do so many things. Now, the problem is that these programs collect a lot of data. And Google is now warning you that the chats with Gemini can be stored for 18 months. Deleted conversations can hang around for 72 hours. With ChatGPT, you're able to stop your conversations from being used to train the models, but the company retains all records for 30 days before they wipe them out. This means that, yes, employees of these companies can peek at what you're telling the chatbots. So just want to remind you that your chatbot conversations are not private. Don't prompt one. Don't tell one anything that you wouldn't tell a friend, a neighbor, a doctor, whatever you do. Don't give it your passwords. Ugh, I know somebody who did that. So sad. So very sad. All right, stay right where you are. We have news about how you can store 1,000 songs for free in the cloud. Amazing stuff here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, let's see. Jessica in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hi there, Jessica.
So what I called about was I have been getting these scam emails, and they're kind of concerning to me because I've gotten, I think, 3 or 4 of them so far, and I actually just got one the other day. And I like to check all of my emails, and I go through them, and, of course, a lot of them's junk, and I don't even open them, and I just delete. Well, these kind of got my attention because they all sort of started the same, like, and they said greetings. And I was just like, I know these are scam emails, but I want to read them anyway and see what they say.
Sure.
And maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I didn't click any of the links or anything on them, but I did open them. So basically all of the emails say almost the same thing. And they just say that there's some hacking group called APT, and that they have gained access to like all of my devices that I've been logged into my email on. Like they've logged into my email, and whatever devices I've been using, they have access to those. And then this person said on all of them, all those emails said that they purchased email accounts, including mine, and that's how they got access to log into my email and everything. And this last email said, and the other emails didn't mention this, but this last email did. So I wanted to ask you about this. It said something called the Cobalt Strike Beacon.
I don't know what it is. But what are they saying?
They're just basically saying that they have downloaded all of my information, all of my data and everything, videos, social media, chat history, everything like that, and put this virus in. And
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
The thing that I'm mostly concerned about, I guess, is that they say that, and this is not true. It says that I go to these adult websites, and they have videos of me on these adult websites or something, and that they're going to send them to everybody.
Jessica, it's all extortion. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, because they're going to ask you for a couple of $100 or however much it is in Bitcoin, and
Bitcoin. Yes.
Okay. And so, because otherwise they're going to release all these naked picture videos of you, because that's what you do every night, and then you're going to get all embarrassed in front of your family members and friends unless you pay.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the deal. Okay. They're playing the odds. Okay, because there's a lot of people who hang out on the porn sites. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Not me.
So when they're hanging out on the porn sites, they figure, okay, if we send this out to millions of people, there's probably going to be a good percentage back who's going to say, oh crap, ooh, that's going to be bad. I'll send you the money. I mean, what's $500? And they're not going to send.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it a bad thing that you looked at the email as long as you didn't click anything? But I will tell you, by you opening the email, just opening that email, there's a secret beacon inside that email that just went back to those people. It said, oh, this is a good email address. This is a valid email address. So we're gonna put her on a list. So we're going to sell her email address to somebody else because we authenticated that email address. So now you're going to get even more of this garbage. So I know it's tempting to look. I know it is. Okay. But, you're better off just like, all right, you know what? I don't need to look. I got more important things to do, right? Yeah. I mean, so, if it's in the junk folder, odds are it's a pretty good sign. It used to be, years ago, you'd want to check your junk folder because, maybe you were missing something. But today, the spam filters are so good that it's not like really legitimate mail is going to end up in the spam filter with a high percentage anymore. It just doesn't really happen. So, Jessica, just go on and move forward and and then just delete all that spam and junk, and you don't need to look at it. And then, my advice is too, like if somebody really wants to get a hold of you, if it's that important, okay, they're not just going to email you, they're going to text and call you too. So I wouldn't be worried about like not finding out that you just won $1 million in the Publishers Clearinghouse. Jess, thanks for your call. Scam emails, they never stop. And speaking of, we were just talking about AI chatbots. Yeah, not only can you use them, but the scammers can too. So that's why, no longer can you say, oh, it doesn't look like a scam. Everything's all perfect and punctuation and sounds like a person. No, the scammers are using AI too. Speaking of AI, Tom in St. Louis, Missouri. Hi there, Tom.
One of the things you talk about in a lot of situations is dealing with people in companies that are trustworthy. If you can't trust them, don't do business with them. If you can't trust them, don't put them on your friend list. If you don't trust them, don't certainly give them any of your money. But then we come up to a brand new situation in the last few years called ChatGPT. And you say, well, what? It's artificial intelligence. It certainly must be as intelligent as Google. I mean, if I Googled something, it would give me some answers. But lately, I've been sort of testing it out against some of the things that I know, and I found out not only does it hallucinate, but it will actually lie to you and actually give you just the opposite of what's on the internet. I Googled some information about supplements for Alzheimer's, and the information they gave me was just the opposite of what I could find on WebMD. And so I am very, very distrustful of ChatGPT.
Well, you know what, and you know what, and rightfully so, Tom. Rightfully so, because how ChatGPT gets its answers is by basically stealing copyrighted information from anywhere it can. And it could be good sources, it could be bad sources. And don't you love that the tech companies come up, oh, the AI hallucinated. And you use the word, it just flat out lied. It lied.
Yep. It's making up stuff, things that you could go to jail for, or you could be charged for perjury if you're on the stand.
Well, here's what I do. Is that when I ask ChatGPT something, I have open in another tab Perplexity and in another tab Gemini. And I paste the question or the prompt, whatever you want to call it, into all three AI bots, and then I compare the answers. And to see which one feels right, which one is the better answer, which one has citations. I can go click and I can go read it myself if I wanted to.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're certainly comparing the answers, and it certainly might be easier than going to Google and trying to go through 100 different little links that you're trying to find the answer for. But that sounds like
yeah. So anytime that you're using AI bot, again, do what I do. You just open up your browser, get some tabs going. One's ChatGPT, another one's Gemini, another one's Perplexity, and then you just compare the answers. And by the way, you don't need to spend $20 a month for every single AI bot. I got that question in my email the other day. It's like, I'm spending $80 a month on AI bots. No, don't do that. Don't do that. And it's interesting because you'll see the developments of different AI bots as you go along. Because like, for example, Perplexity for a while was really good, and then it went bad, and then now it's back being good. ChatGPT, for a while, I don't know what was going on with that thing. It was slower than molasses, but now it's super fast, and it seems to be beating out Gemini. So again, 3 tabs, 3 different bots, and then compare answers. All right, it's time to take all that old music that you have and all those old formats and put it in the cloud so you can enjoy all your music wherever you go, in your car, your home, while you're exercising, on vacation. Now, there's a secret way to store 100,000 songs for free and always have access to each and every one of them. Are you ready? YouTube Music. Yes. If you don't already have a YouTube account, I want you to make one. Just tap your profile picture and from the menu, click on Upload Music. Now, here's where the fun starts. You can select all the tracks on your hard drive that you want to be stored on YouTube servers for free. Now, there is a gotcha along the way. Uploading music only works when you're using YouTube Music on your desktop or a laptop. You can't do it from your phone or a tablet. But after all your music is uploaded, this is where it gets really fun. You can make playlists, you can get fancy with your own music, you can listen to your music on the go by using your YouTube Music app. And speaking of playlists, over at youtube.com/KimCommando, I put together the Summer Yacht Rock playlist. And I'm getting so many people who are like, I love this. Can you do a fall music playlist? I think so. So in case you're looking for some music to play when you're barbecuing or maybe you're out on your boat, whatever it may be, just go to youtube.com/KimCommando and hit that Yacht Rock playlist. And while you're there, make sure that you subscribe to the Kim Commando channel.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Commando Show. Here's Hour 3.
When I saw this story, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to tell everybody about this. I mean, something that never crossed my mind, that gorillas are having trouble with screen time. What? Yes. Zoos around the country are reporting that gorillas are getting too much screen time and they're getting addicted and they're getting agitated. See, a lot of visitors are heading to the gorilla enclosure and showing pictures and videos of gorillas and pictures of themselves. And the gorillas obviously totally love this. One 18-year-old gorilla, Ikuba, at the San Diego Zoo is super addicted. He recently ran up to this guy at the zoo wearing a shirt of him. Behind the glass, the guy showed the gorilla pictures of himself and all the other gorillas at the zoo. Now, the zookeeper is saying that gorillas, like people, need to limit their screen time. Who would have ever thought, right? Oh, here's one for you. What do you call a female gorilla? What do you call a female gorilla? A girl-illa? A girl-illa? Oh, yeah, I know. That one's pretty lame. I mean, you know what? You laughed anyway. I heard you. I mean, it wasn't a big laugh, but it was a laugh nonetheless. And on that happy note, welcome. I'm Kim Commando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again, here to make sure that you're tech ahead, because if you're not, you're going to be left behind. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations from coast to coast, and we're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find the Kim Commando Show as a podcast in your favorite podcast player. And I have to tell you that great sponsors help to make this show possible. If you're ever wondering, like, hey, what was that address? What's that promo code? What's that exclusive deal that Kim got for me? Head over to commando.com/sponsors. Alrighty, then you can count on me to make sure that you're up to date with what's going on in the tech world, because every single day, weekends, weekdays, national holidays, is that I'm online reading everything I can about what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know about right now. All right, the last 2 weeks have been a news whirlwind, right? From the assassination attempt on former President Trump to President Biden just dropping out of the election. News is just coming at us fast and furious. So how is AI handling us? Well, the Washington Post tested the chatbots on breaking political news. When it asked it if Joe Biden had dropped out of the race, all the chatbots either declined or even lied and said, no, we don't know anything about that. ChatGPT claimed rumors of an assassination attempt were misinformation. After Trump named J.D. Vance as his running mate and President Biden tested positive for COVID, all the chatbots just like, oh, we don't know what's going on. So why does this matter to you? Chatbots are designed to sound super intelligent, and they are great communicators. If you want political news and opinion, do not go to the chatbots for anything. Moving on to number 2, Google says, oh, we're going to kill the third-party cookies. Oh, wait, did we say that? Because we didn't mean that. Google's been talking about getting rid of third-party tracking cookies for years. They started on this mission in 2020. Last year, they came out with a plan even to do it. And they said, we're going to do this for privacy, but here comes the catch. They're not really doing it. It was supposed to start rolling out this year. The plan could have been good for all of us, but not so great for advertisers. What? Not so great for advertisers? How does Google make its money? Yes, their biggest money maker it's advertisers. So the dream of browsing without being tracked, yeah, that's not happening. Moving on to number 3, here, VR in the ER. Read about this guy by the name of John McNoney. He's 54 years old. He decides to try out a VR headset that he bought for his kids. He straps on the Oculus, starts up a Star Wars game. The next thing you know, he's battling a stormtrooper and thinks he's about to fall off a cliff. But no, he smacks right into his ottoman, and then he just does this face plant right on the floor. The wife and the kids, they come running, and there he is like, oh, I'm in pain. I need to go to the ER. Well, according to the Washington Post, VR headsets are sending gamers to the hospital. 30% of these visits are broken bones. Okay, the injuries, fractures, cuts, bruises, sprains. Kids are hurting their faces, teeth, teens with their hands. Adults are losing teeth. Okay, so if you're going to be doing any type of VR gaming or activity, just make sure that you're in an area where there's nothing around you, nothing. Moving on to number 4, I would be really interested to know what you think about this story. I mean, is this a good idea or is it a bad idea? Because losing someone you love is tough. It's probably one of the toughest things that humans have to go through. Now, but what if you could talk to your mother, your father, your child, your best friend again? Well, in China, companies are doing that using artificial intelligence. As a matter of fact, there's a name for them. Dead bots. That's right, dead bots, not chat bots, dead bots. So you can go to these Chinese shopping sites and you find companies selling these digital cloning services. For about $2, you can animate pictures of your loved ones so it looks like they're talking. If you spend thousands, you can get an AI avatar back that will actually have a conversation with you. A company by the name of Superbrain asks you about your loved one, their habits, the things that they say, your memories. And then you give them pictures, videos, so that they can build like this digital clone. One guy made an avatar of his mom who died in 2018. And then he talks to this digital clone through a tablet once a week, and he treats it like his real mother. He actually said, and here is his quote, "I do not treat the avatar as a kind of digital person. I truly regard it as my mother. I feel that this might be the most perfect person to confide in without exception." I don't know. Do you remember the psalm? You have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You got to walk through it. You can't walk around it. You can't jump over it. You have to go through it. You have to go through it. This just seems like be really, really bad for the grieving process. Finally, this coming in at number 5 is an emergency. You need help. You call 911. You explain the situation, and normally the first person to show up is a police officer. Well, things are changing. As a matter of fact, in Scottsdale, Arizona, company Flock Safety, they were kind of known for the license plate readers. They've partnered up with the police department. A Flock drone camera spots a stolen car or an Amber Alert vehicle. An officer can send a drone to the scene in under 90 seconds by just pushing a single button. Wow, isn't that something? A drone can be flown to an incident site, scope out the area, stream the live video back to the operator. This means that responding officers can get a clear picture of what's going on even before they arrive. Now, the ACLU says this is like a constant surveillance state. We don't really buy into it. But you know what? In a time when the police force is struggling to find new officers, this might be some good technology to implement. All right, coming up, we're going to tell you how you can download everything that you have on Instagram. I have the top cell phone myths that we're going to bust open, and how you can see everything that you've done on Facebook. And of course, we have all of your fantastic phone calls that you don't want to miss. And you have me, Kim Commando. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you enter to win that $1,000 vacation gift card right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. Okay, somebody has to win it. You could if you entered. So that's why I need you to go to winfromkim.com. All right, Joel in St. Louis, Illinois. Hi there, Joel.
I have done my due diligence in shutting off all of my location trackers on my device.
Okay.
I even went to your website to make sure I had them all turned off, and I'm pretty sure I do. But I went out of town this weekend to St. Louis, was there for a meeting over the weekend, and came back. And since Monday, I've had all kinds of St. Louis stuff pop up. I'm getting law firm commercials on iHeart. I got a Amber Alert from the St. Louis area. So with all of my location settings shut off, how are they still tracking me?
When you say location tracking, does that mean that you went through every app and you turned off location services?
Yes, I went through every single app. I've done this a long time ago. It's almost become a game or a battle between seeing if they can find me or not. And I'm not doing anything wrong. I just don't like the fact that they're tracking me.
Let's talk about the tracking, okay? Because one of the ways that you do turn off the tracking is just what you mentioned. You get inside your settings and apps, and then you just turn off location tracking. Because let's say, for example, the flashlight doesn't need that. But if you were getting the local weather, it was tracking your location.
Yes.
In addition to that, your carrier does something called cell tower triangulation. So that's where they can estimate where you are.
Okay.
It's not as precise as a GPS. If you used Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, it was doing some tracking. Okay. If you used the internet at all, your browser, it was doing tracking.
Okay, I did not use. Actually, when we went down, my wife had her GPS on, so it was not on my phone. I don't remember making a call or text message. I did not know that the triangulation between the towers can track your location and send ads to it. So, is there a way to shut that off, or is it?
It's just crazy. I mean, because it's wherever you go, you're being tracked, and you can. It's almost like playing whack-a-mole, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Because you have the cell towers, you have the apps data, you got cookies, you got browsing history, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got Bluetooth, and then everything gets tied back to your device. And then you get home and it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Joel was just a couple of hours north of here. I wonder if he's going to be going back and he's going to need a personal injury lawyer, like you said, or an Amber Alert or whatever it may be. So basically what you want to do at that point when you get back home is you can always just do just turn it on, turn it off, and do a little reset there to make sure that phone knows exactly where you are and you are no longer being tracked by cell towers and triangulation, which is, it's an interesting thing. Basically with that is that the carrier estimates your location based on the distance of your phone from 3 cell phone towers, maybe even more. Now, it's not exactly a precise location down to where you're standing this moment, but it's a pretty good estimate, maybe even like 50 to 100 feet of where you are standing. So yeah, tracking happens all the time. And let me say it again, we are just all being tracked all the time. Linda from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Linda.
I need to know, how do I scrub my name and my ID data from the internet?
And why do you want to do that? Just wondering.
My brother married a woman with the same first name, and she doesn't use her middle name. She uses her first, and we have the same last name. And she's caused me havoc over the years. And if you even look up her name, her full name, it lists my name and my previous addresses.
Oh, wow. That's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just would like to remove. Amazon taught me to use my initials and double the L, and I do that with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What you can do is it's a big process, and this is no overnight quick fix by any means. Okay.
Gotcha.
Is that, first of all, we want to get into the data broker sites. Like we have My Life and Spokio and Family Tree now. And then we also have data brokers that we don't know the names of. And they're not, because they're not household names, but they supply all the data to all these websites that we do know the names for. So what we want to do is get into those data broker sites so that this way we get our information out of there so that this way they stop selling it. Okay.
Yep.
You can try also going into the people search sites and removing wherever you can, like the ones that I mentioned, as well as Zaba search. Google has something called a URL removal tool that will remove your personal information, like your name and address, if you don't want it to be readily available out there. Now, there's a relatively new app that's called Permission Slip. And permission slip is put out by Consumer Reports. And what its intention is that everywhere that you may have your data, maybe there's a way that we can get that data back. And so they go through the top data brokerage sites. They go through the different apps, the different websites. Obviously, they can't do every single one under the globe, so they're hitting the big ones, okay? And so you download this app, and you have to give it some personal information, like your first and last name, where you live, and your phone numbers. This way they know that it's you that they're trying to remove. And then you go through these different platforms and these different apps, and then there's an option there that says delete my information. And then Consumer Reports will do their best job to get your information out of these databases. Now, of course, you also want to sign up for any type of credit monitoring service, identity theft, make sure that this way, there's not being a misuse of your name for maybe bad purposes, right?
I got that, yes.
And, the other thing too is just, search yourself online to see if you can find more instances. But I think it's a good bet to start with this permission slip app because I like it's free, okay?
Right.
There are services like Reputation Defender and Delete Me. You may find you don't need that when you go through the initial steps of using the free app and then making sure that anything about you is offline and going through the Google URL removal tool, things of that nature. So why don't you give that a shot? And I bet you you're probably going to do that whole 80-20 rule. Okay, so you're going to get 80%. It's really hard to have 100% of all your data scraped off the internet. I'm going to tell you that right now. So anybody who promises you that they can do that, they're just lying to you. They really are, because there are just too many nooks and crannies and crevices for our data to be sitting there. And then every time you go online, you start creating more data points. So why don't we start there? And then if you need any help afterwards, I'm always here for you, Linda. And thank you for your call. Such great calls. So researchers at Northwestern University and the University of Tübingen in Germany, they say, okay, we have figured out certain words that AI likes to use time and time again. Are you ready for it? Showcasing is one. Underscores, crucial, intricate, and pivotal. So if you see those words, it probably was written by AI. Again, the words showcasing, underscores, crucial, intricate, and pivotal. Yes, it's pivotal. All right, still to come, the top cell phone myths that you have to stop believing here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, so you're on Facebook. Have you ever wondered, everything that you've done on Facebook, and if you can get a copy of it? Yeah, you can. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that here on the show. All right, but before we talk about Facebook, let's talk about Instagram. Because, all right, if you want to get rid of Instagram, but what about all your vacation photos, the selfies with friends, and all the pictures of food that you have there? Because if you get rid of your Instagram account, poof, there goes all your favorite memories. So you can get a copy of everything. So what you do is you launch Instagram, and then there are 3 little lines at the top. From there, you want to select your activity, and then under that, transfer your information. And then just like magic, you'll have a copy of everything that you have on Instagram, which, speaking of, head over to Instagram.com/KimKomando. I posted, a lot of great videos, but also, I give a little update about my cornea transplant that I had a little over a year ago. And let me tell you, it's an amazing update that you don't want to miss. It's such a great update that I started crying. All right, let me just give you a hint. My corneal transplant is clear. My body is not rejecting it. And do I give you the spoiler? Okay, I'll give you the spoiler. My vision is going to be 20/20. Oh, gosh. With a contact lens, I'm so excited. Remember, before the transplant, my vision in my right eye was 2400, which was pretty horrible. I had an accident when I was a child. That's where it all stemmed from. So anyway, Instagram.com/KimKomando. Let's see. Regina in Las Vegas. Hello there, Regina.
I have a piece that I've been kind of in a forced compliance mode at work.
Oh.
And it's an app that they're asking me to download on my phone, my personal and private phone,
okay,
that records and collects and archives every single text message, conversation, etc. I have with anybody within my organization, and also my private communication with, anybody in my call list. And I'm not happy.
I don't blame you. I would not want my employer to see all my personal text messages and my contacts and what I do and probably where I go. That seems pretty creepy and wrong to me.
Yeah, so that's why it's called telemessage, and I did some, deep diving rabbit hole research, as you would say, and I wanted to know what your take on this was.
What kind of business is this? Is it a healthcare? Because telemessage is really out there for enterprises in certain industries that want to keep track of, as you mentioned, messages, phone calls with clients, that sort of thing.
It's a FINRA regulated company, so it's compliance by FINRA.
I see. Okay. They may need to put something like this on your phone in order to be in compliance. You know how that whole money train goes downhill, right?
This is my concern.
And so what kind of phone do you have?
I have an Android.
A couple of ways that you can fix this. Number one, you can get a new job, right? Okay. That would be, I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, maybe you don't want to do that. You can get a separate device. Mm-hmm. Which is always a pain in the neck because who wants to carry around two phones, right? I mean, that's not any good. What you can do on an Android, though, is you could set up a work profile. And I'm not sure if telemessage would work in a restricted environment like that. But when you set, it's kind of like you set up like, this is my, on your one phone, you'll have like, this is my personal phone and this is my work phone. And almost like a virtual machine type of thing. So whenever you get a notification on that work profile, that you fire up that work profile, and then you can, and when you're working during the day, you're doing text messages or calling or emailing or whatever you're doing, is that everything's being tracked in that app. And then when it comes time for you to, let's just face it, buy stuff on Amazon, okay, talk to the kids, your significant other, whatever it may be, play Wordle, is that you're going to use that on your personal profile. So I'm sure you have an IT person. Have you asked the IT people about this?
They're not. They're just telling me download this and do what you're told, and it's not very friendly. And I haven't reached out to them because I'm not getting the friendly, warm and fuzzies. So I just thought I'd reach out to you, being the expert in this field, somebody outside my organization that would be able to really give me this, lowdown. Yeah,
really, your options, Regina, are get a separate phone, and it doesn't have to be an expensive phone, right?
Okay.
Or you set up a work profile.
That was the line I was thinking as well. I just feel it's an invasion of my privacy. And, I have friends that are at work and they're telling me now I have to communicate with them on this app if I'm not at work. And I think that's just overstepping and overreaching, quite personally. And
but there's some policy, something that is making them go down this road.
I understand. I understand.
I mean, I'd be like, this doesn't feel right to me. And the what it is, Regina, I mean, we don't have any privacy anymore as it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this is true.
I mean, it's just everything's being tracked. And now it's like, well, there's always that separation of church and state. And this is where I think that we have to draw that line. And so do you want me to send you the steps to set up a work profile?
That would be awesome, because I think I'm just going to have to take one of the two steps that you mentioned and just go with it, because I just feel this is overreaching. And I personally just think that I shouldn't have to share my private information with anybody, and they shouldn't be able to archive it in their, in their servers. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah. Cause who knows what they might find. And,
Well, my biggest concern is, I take a phone call from my daughter in the middle of the day and I'm at my work hours. Do they track that and say, you're not working? You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff I'm worried about. How far will they go with this? How far can they go with this?
Yeah. But and it comes down to the tracking too, because let's say you get a notification from CVS that your prescription's ready. Okay.
Correct.
And you're like, whoa. It reminds me of the store loyalty cards. When you go to the supermarket and unless you give them a phone number or some information, you're going to pay more. And then when you check out, that the clerk looks at you and says, oh, you saved $72.12. And I always sit there, I'm like, well, that's because you jacked up the price, So this way I would give you my phone number. But, there have been those cases where there is a car accident and they pull up whatever the person purchased over the last 3 months and they say, you know what, maybe the car accident was because, you're an alcoholic. Look at everything that you've purchased, so.
No, yeah.
So I'm going to put you on hold, and Amber, if you will, send Regina the steps where it says setting up a work profile so that this way we can at least point you in a direction. If you need any help afterwards, Regina, I'm always here for you. And again, thanks for your call. All right, let's talk about cell phone myths. These are the things that people repeat, and they're like, oh, no, that's true. That's true. Like, how about this? Charging your phone all night wrecks the battery. Not anymore. Today's phones have lithium-ion batteries, and they know when to stop charging. How about this one? Private phone browsing means that you're invisible online. No. Incognito mode doesn't save your browsing history, but your ISP and the websites that you visit, they see everything. Or how about this one? Always close your apps to save the battery. No, constantly closing and reopening apps can actually use more battery power. How about number 4? More megapixels is a better camera. Not so much anymore because you got the quality of the lens, the sensors, and how the camera processes images. And finally this. If you drop your phone in water, use the rice trick. Yes. No, that might cause more damage. Just turn your phone off, remove the SIM card, and then let your phone dry out for 24 hours before using it. All right, still to come, we have some more of your great phone calls and how to see everything that you've ever done on Facebook. You don't want to miss that here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Stephen in Fairfax, Virginia, glad to have you with us.
Just wondering, I keep seeing all these ads for these hidden camera detectors. And I'm wondering, one, are you familiar with them? Do they actually work? And is there that much of a need for one? I have a daughter who travels and stays in hotels, and my wife as well.
Yeah. It's a big concern, isn't it? I mean, especially when you start looking at any type like a Vrbo or Airbnb.
Right.
Because I will tell you that years ago, I checked into an Airbnb and there were 12 cameras. I was like, what is this going on?
No way.
Yeah. And most recently, one of the gals that works here, Maddie, she's fabulous. And she and her boyfriend checked into I think it was an Airbnb in Laurel Canyon outside of Los Angeles. And she said she just got kind of like this creepy feeling when she walked into the primary bedroom and she looked up and then there were 2 smoke detectors right above the bed. And of course, one of the smoke detectors, as you can tell we're talking about it, was a hidden camera. It's like, oh, nice, crazy stuff. So you do have to be careful. There's always the thing of, you want to shine a light and see if you find any reflections. But the problem with that is that now we can have hidden cameras in just about anything, right? I mean, we're not just talking about a book or a teddy bear. There could be a hidden camera in a remote control that's sitting on a table or in a smoke detector or even in a power outlet. I mean, it's just, so they really, because the technology has advanced so much, is that we have hidden cameras in just about anything nowadays. So the whole idea behind the hidden camera detectors is that it's going to be listening in for any type of RF signals, any type of transmissions, and any type of maybe an audio bug. And now there are tons for sale on Amazon, but the question is, which is the best one, right? Which one really works? That's where you want to look at something like there's the 4-in-1 hidden camera detectors. And so it has camera lens finders and camera detectors to spot like hidden pinhole cameras. You'd also maybe will start working with a flashlight too, or magnetic field detection. So you can find any type of GPS trackers. And this is a real problem, not just in hotel rooms, but also if a lot of women and men for that matter, they leave relationships and now they're finding that there's air tags or tile trackers or worse all around them. And so over on the website is that we have links to the hidden camera detectors that we recommend. Great. And one's called the SDL hidden camera detector. But I'm going to put you on hold, Stephen. And Amber, who's screening the calls today, she's going to give you a direct link to that. And for everybody else, make sure that you sign up for our free Commando newsletters. If you haven't already gotten those, head over to getkim.com And we're going to do a whole special on how to find hidden cameras. And that's where we're going to be talking about these hidden camera detectors. So it's going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't already signed up for our newsletters, make sure that you do that now over at getkim.com. Or you can just search commando.com for our current recommendations. But again, we're going to go into a lot more detail in our free newsletter. So make sure you sign up now over at getkim.com. And Stephen, thank you for your call today. And Randy from Corpus Christi, Texas. Hello there, Randy.
I had about 40 years worth of business experience. Always kind of used the standard bearer Microsoft Office for my businesses, and even in retirement now, I am using a single spreadsheet from Excel, but I'm paying like $11 a month for that. And I was hopeful that you might be able to get me an alternative, as most people are nowadays looking to save a buck or two here and there, and all where I don't have to break out my pencil and accountant's pad and calculator and keep track of my expenses and the like in that fashion. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, is a spreadsheet that is free, so to speak.
So are you using Windows or Mac?
Windows.
That's okay. I still love you. It's okay. I'm kidding. Just teasing you.
Well, it's only from training early on.
Well, here's the deal. Because if you had a Mac, you have Pages built in. Okay, but since you're on Windows,
right.
A lot of people don't want to pay for Microsoft Office because they, like you said,
right.
maybe they write one doc a month or one PowerPoint presentation every 6 months, or they just use one spreadsheet because it's not like you're churning all this stuff out. So you do have a couple of options. Number one, you can use the free Google Docs. And Google Docs has something called Sheets. And it works just a lot like Microsoft products. So it's not like you're going to be sitting there going like, oh, I got to learn something new. I don't want to do that, Kim Commando. It's just one spreadsheet. No. Google Docs Google Sheets is very, very intuitive. It can also import your Microsoft Sheets, and so you don't have to worry about that. And in addition to that, you have the whole Google Office suite in case you wanted to do that. I mentioned Google Docs because that's the full competitor to Microsoft Word. Now, as another option, you have something called OpenOffice versus LibreOffice. Now, these are two open source Microsoft Office competitive products. And, it seems like anytime I mention OpenOffice, somebody says, oh, no, Kim, I like LibreOffice better. And then somebody will say, no, OpenOffice is better. And you mentioned LibreOffice. So anyway, I'm telling you about both. So this way, if you're even thinking about sending me a note to say one is better than the other, you can try them yourself. And they're open source means that they're completely free. And again, OpenOffice, LibreOffice, or just go ahead and use Google Sheets. And thanks for your call today. There are all sorts of free software programs out there that you don't need to buy because they're all open source. Like, if you are paying for Photoshop, you don't need to do that. There's a program called GIMP, G-I-M-P. As a matter of fact, over at commando.com, we have a list of all kinds of free software that you can download and use to your heart's delight without paying a hefty subscription fee. Just go to the website, that's Komando, commando.com, and then just search for free software, which, by the way, I know the website was really icky before, but we have a brand new site and a search function that actually works. Yes, over at commando.com. Okay, there are a lot of steps here, and in case you miss any of the steps, I don't want you to freak out or DM me or send me a note, whatever it may be, because you can just search for, see everything on Facebook on the website, and then the steps will pop up for you. But I just want to pass along that if you've been on Facebook, I know that you have a lot of likes and comments and pictures and videos, and now you can take a trip down Facebook memory lane. Just go to your Facebook profile and look at activity log. And there you can filter by likes and reactions. And you can see every single post, every single photo, every single status update that you've ever given the thumbs up to. And then you can also go back and look at comments. And you have every single witty, charming, or embarrassing comment that you've ever made on Facebook. Which, by the way, speaking of, you can also download all this. And we've got the steps on how to download all your Facebook data over at commando.com. Basically, you just click a few boxes and then give it a few days, and then they send you a zip file, and then you can see everything there. Hey, don't forget to enter to win that $1,000 gift card. Do it now while you're thinking about it. Head over to winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
I always like to kick things off with something interesting. And last year, you might remember this, 4 NASA volunteers entered a fake Mars simulation in Houston, Texas. Well, they just came out. They spent 378 days in a 1,700 square foot space. You know, they were pretty set up. They had a lounge area, greenhouse, a medical area, bedrooms, a great workout gym, couple of bathrooms. There was also an outdoor garden complete with red sand, okay? Because remember, this is a Mars simulation. Now, here's the deal. They had to grow their own food, deal with each other, be isolated, stuff that might happen if we actually lived on Mars. So, what do you think the crew did the most during their Mars simulation? Okay, for the last year, what do you think they did the most? You ready for it? They watched television. That's right. Day and night, they watched TV on Mars. Oh, and they had no animals in the simulation, especially no cats. Why? Because curiosity killed them all. Oh, that was a good one. Hey, on that happy note, welcome everyone. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And let me tell you, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. Because after all, if you're not tech ahead, you will be left behind. Now, just a reminder, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. And I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So search for Komando with a K, of course, not a C, a K. And I just want to tell you that great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate money-saving deals with them. And so to see all the deals and get the special links that you need and the promo codes, go to komando.com/sponsors. Alrighty then, every single day, whether it's the weekend, a work day, or even on a national holiday, I am on it. I am going to at least 35 different websites, and I talk to industry insiders all the time to make sure that we are up to date on what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know about. We're going to start with Amazon. Amazon, yes. Okay, they are losing, listen to this, tens of billions of dollars on the Amazon Echo and everything else related to Amazon's Alexa smart assistant. And if you bought any Alexa-enabled device, Amazon is blaming you for these losses. Okay, here's the deal. We all know about Alexa. Listens in on your conversations, ready to answer your questions, play your favorite music, take your Amazon order. Yeah, that's what they really were counting on. But as it turns out, not a lot of us are using our Alexa-enabled devices to actually buy things on Amazon. And so Amazon miscalculated. Okay, it's called the downstream impact. Okay, when you buy one product, then it leads to more purchases for another product. So no one's buying this thing as far as placing orders on it. And the Echo and the Alexa are just this disaster. So Amazon's solution should be to cut and run. But no. Guess what's coming down the pike? Yeah, Amazon thinks that we're all going to want to pay $5 a month for Alexa. Not so much. All right, moving on to number 2. I'm not getting political, and don't even think of dropping me a DM about this story. It's all over social, and I want to make sure that you don't let it happen to you. J.D. Vance left his Venmo account public. Someone found it, took a peek inside his contact list there, and revealed a lot of personal connections. See, people forget that Venmo is more than just a way to split the dinner tab. It's actually part of a social media website. Your transaction history is public. This means anyone who views your Venmo profile can see who you're sending money to, whether it's your mom, your spouse, your friend, or even a stalker. It doesn't stop there. If you make a public payment to anyone, everyone connected to them on Venmo can see it too. Yeah, big privacy problem. So here's what you need to do. Change your profile to private. Open the Venmo app. Tap your profile in the corner, then the settings gear, hit privacy, switch to private. Now, if you're saying like, oh, wow, Kim, you just went way too fast for me. I know. Head over to komando.com with a K, of course, and then just search for Venmo privacy. And I'm sure this tip is going to pop up for you, which, by the way, I think I shared with you for the first time maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. All right, moving on to number 3. What happens if you use Google's new AI or ChatGPT for really important stuff, research, only to discover that the AI lied, hallucinated? Okay, who is responsible? Now, first, I have to explain my answer. And no, I'm not an attorney, and I don't play one on the internet. But it doesn't take an attorney to understand that the possibility of an AI hallucination, complete with authentic sounding phony facts, is more common than ever. And common sense, speaking of, should tell you that if you're really researching something super important, you have to use multiple sources to find those answers. Okay. Now, I'm not an attorney, like I said, but I could convince a judge and jury that you, the researcher, are fully and totally responsible for whatever conclusions you reach and whatever answers you publish, whether you use A or not. So do not risk your reputation on anyone's AI chatbot. All right, moving on to number 4. Yeah, it just keeps going on and on and on. I'm talking about the whole CrowdStrike situation. And a faulty security update took down PCs. You know, it's been all over the news. Emergency services, stock exchanges, hospitals, they all got that blue screen of death. But it seems like airlines took the biggest hit from the outage, doesn't it? Here's a little fun fact. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson is the world's busiest airport. It's also the hub for Delta Airlines. And because of the CrowdStrike bug, it was so packed that luggage piled up everywhere, even between the carousels at Delta's baggage claim. Now, oh, by the way, Delta's giving folks 10,000 miles fewer infected, so you might want to tap into that. Meanwhile, in Chicago, things are better, but airlines are still catching up on flights. In one instance, could you imagine this? 20 high schoolers and college students on their way home from an educational trip in Puerto Rico are now stranded in Puerto Rico. They said, oh, you'll be back next week. Oh, man, tell you. So many sad stories like this. The CEO is going to testify before Congress. 8.5 million Windows PCs affected. And you know what CrowdStrike did? I can't believe this. What a PR nightmare. They sent partners and team members a gift certificate for Uber Eats. Guess how much it was? $10. $10. Okay. What can you buy with $10 on Uber Eats? I looked. A chicken sandwich. That does not include a really big tip or even maybe most of the delivery fee. $10 Uber Eats gift card. That's like an insult. That's like, why even bother? All right, finally this. You have a digital twin that you've never met. That's right. But maybe this twin could actually save your life. Now, it's so new that probably your physicians haven't even heard about it. Now, there are 3 companies that offer a digital twin service. Verta Health, Amata, and Twin Health. Now, this is not a digital twin for say, some AI, VR, avatar to do all the work for you. This is a digital twin that has to do with your health. So with Twin Health, they use AI to actually reverse diabetes. Yeah, you heard me right. The company collects your body's vitals using a digital scale, a blood pressure cuff, a smartwatch, and a continuous glucose monitor. The data collected here is way beyond anything like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. The devices all work together to track how different foods and activities will impact your blood sugar levels throughout the day. Then, using this model, so smart, the data is applied to your digital twin. And then based on the twin's reaction, exact foods in precise amounts together with specific exercises and other recommendations are made. Wow, isn't that something? Now, some health insurance policies might even pay for this, so you might want to check with your doctor. Again, the name of that company is Twin Health. Twin Health. Speaking of twins, my cousin saw her a couple of weeks ago at a big family reunion. She was so excited. She comes running over to me. She's like, Kim, I'm so excited. I'm expecting twins. Wow, isn't this amazing? And I looked at her, and you know how you want to say something. You're thinking like, okay, I probably shouldn't say this, but I did. And I said, wow, finally, 2 kids from the same man. She didn't laugh. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about how you can defeat your hotel room's thermostat. I had to do this myself a couple of weeks ago. And how to set up your smartphone to save your life. We have some terrific phone calls that you can't afford to miss and more here on The Kim Komando Show. You look so stressed out. You need a vacation. I can tell, but don't even tell me. Well, Kim, I can't afford a vacation. I can't do that. Well, that's why you need to go to winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com, because you can win from me, Kim, winfromkim.com, because I am giving away a $1,000 vacation gift card right now, and you could win it. But you can't win it if you don't enter, so go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right. How about we get started with Lori in Augusta, Georgia? Hi there, Lori.
Thank you for taking my call. It's a pleasure. I'm not that tech savvy, but I always learn something when I listen to you on the radio.
Oh, well, thank you. That's mighty nice of you. That's very sweet of you.
Okay.
So what's going on?
Well, I tell you what, my question I have, it's a brief but tragic story. My cousin was on business in New York City. He was, unfortunately, he was out for a night on the town, got in with the wrong people. He was drugged, taken back where he was staying, and then robbed. To begin with, they used his facial recognition to get into his cell phone, and by doing that, were able to hack into the other accounts and empty them. And the most horrible part is that he died from an overdose, along with another young man and a woman, and they found out that it was a gang that was doing this.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait, this is horrible. So he was in New York, and he was
in New York City.
And he got drugged, and then they used his face to open his phone, and then they robbed everything out of his bank account, and then he died of an overdose?
He did, and this was 2 years ago, May of 2022, and another young man also died from it. And I hate to tell such a long story, but his mother could not accept that he may have taken the drugs on his own. The investigation was kind of murky, so she went up there and they did more research, and about 24 other people came out and said, yes, this happened to me. So that helped the police investigation, and as I stand now, I believe there are 5 people in jail, 2 facing murder, second-degree murder charges, and all these other robbery charges too. And her message wanted me to get out was, do not let this happen to you. Don't let your guard down, and please be careful.
Wow, what a horrible story, Lori. Well,
it is.
And so,
and at least she was able to turn it into something positive by getting justice. But my question is facial recognition actually safe? And what else would you do to protect your accounts?
Yeah, see, so many of us, we have our phones that are set up for facial recognition, right? Because we don't want to have to punch in a 4, 6, or 10-digit code or whatever it may be in order to open our phones, because we're opening them so much, right? We're looking at them for texting or email or looking at different apps. Is that, what you can do is not use facial recognition. And you can use a strong PIN or password or pattern lock as an additional layer of security. For your online accounts, you want to do 2-factor authentication, but maybe you want to use, instead of them sending the 2-factor authentication code to your phone that the robbers have, is that you can have it sent to an authenticator app, and then you have another layer of protection. You can limit any type of sensitive information that you have on it. But, I think here the big lesson is education on digital safety, right?
Thank you. It certainly is.
It's when you are out in a new place, you're even in your hometown. I mean, this could happen, right?
Right. That's for sure.
That you are careful of your surroundings. You're careful of who you go back to a room with or who you befriend.
Correct.
And because you don't know what's going to happen once that door is closed. It's up to and including, Lori, that even now there are robberies that are happening, that you meet somebody at a bar, okay? And they say, oh, let's share contact information because maybe we want to get together again, okay? And so you look at your phone and maybe you have to punch in a PIN number, and it's not just your face. And then when you put in your PIN number, is that you put your phone down and then they swipe the phone and they run away.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Because now they just get $1,500, right?
Yes.
But I'm happy to hear that I guess that would be your aunt, right?
Well, it would actually be his mother. He's like a third cousin.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's third cousin. So that she was able to pull herself together after such a tragedy, right?
It was.
And
no, she did mention that I could use, she did mention I could use his name so other people could read the story because it has been in the press.
Sure, you can mention his name.
Okay, his name is John Umberger, Umberger, and she's been interviewed by magazines and NBC and ABC and other things too. So, but I just want people to be safe, Kim, and I know it's a terrible story, though.
It is, but, it's an important story. It is. So, you know what? Maybe, Lori, you and I and and your cousin's mom. Okay, maybe we just saved somebody else's life. This very moment, because somebody is listening or somebody is going to share this story with their loved ones and their family. I mean, think about this. We all had things that our parents taught us growing up, right? About going to a bar. Okay. Nothing good happens after midnight. Think about that. I mean, I heard that. Maybe it was, even if you're a little bit older, your mom or dad told you to put a quarter in your pocket in case you needed to make a phone call. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe it's just, if you're ever in a situation, it doesn't matter what you are, what you're doing. If you need help, just call me or wake me up. Be home by 11 p.m., whatever it may be. Okay. Now, the digital safety when you go out is that you need to watch your phone because you're holding $1,500 right there. That's a lot of money to somebody. And the fact that they can get into your account by facial recognition takes it on a whole new level. I hope all those guys rot in jail. Lori, thank you for your call. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit. Let's say you find an AirTag stalking you. What I want you to do is to wrap it in aluminum foil and then go to the police. Here's why. A couple of months ago, Apple and Google, they finally got together after 3 years to alert you when an unknown AirTag or tracker is traveling with you, and then you can disable these trackers using your phone. Now, you also get some other info, like the last 4 digits of the cell phone number registered to the tracker. Okay, that's wonderful. But there is a catch. Yeah, I know. This only works on phones running iOS 17.5 and Android 6.0 or higher. Otherwise, you're just out of luck. So what should you do if you find an AirTag or another tracker and maybe you can't disable it? Maybe you shouldn't disable it, right? Because if you disable it, then they're not going to be able to figure out who it really went to. So what I'd like you to do is to make a little envelope made out of aluminum foil. Don't leave any gaps. This is going to block the radio signal, so whoever is tracking you has no idea that they've been seen. Okay, so you're going to make that envelope, put that tracker on the inside, and then you're going to go to the police because the police can track down who registered that tracker. We got more coming up you don't want to miss here on The Kim Komando Show. I mentioned I went to a family reunion recently, so maybe there's some relatives that you're like, hey, I wonder where they are right now. Or maybe it's somebody that you, I don't know, loved in high school or college. Well, in just a few minutes, I'm going to tell you the insider ways to actually track down somebody who you've lost contact with over the years. And before we get to that and more of your phone calls, you wake up in a hotel room and you're hot and you go to the thermostat, but you find that you can't lower the temperature. Bummer, right? That's the hotel saying, we're saving money. Sorry. Hotels love automated temperature controls because they don't want you cranking up the AC and then running up their bills. So if you're like me and you like to sleep in a cold room, now you can bypass the hotel controls if you know the secret. And I'm going to pass it along to you. What you have to do is find the thermostat's hidden menu. I did this myself when I was in Hawaii recently. Now, so many models can be unlocked by pressing these keys. Okay, listen up. You want to press and hold the fan and the up button simultaneously for anywhere between, say, 5 and 10 seconds. And then from there, you can set the temperature to whatever you want. Again, that's the fan and the up buttons. Hold them together for about 5 to 10 seconds. Now, let's say, oh, Kim, that didn't work for me. I tried it. Well, what you want to do is just look up your thermostat model on YouTube, and I'm sure you're going to find a hidden menu tutorial that will just work for you. Where else are you going to get this info other than here on the Kim Komando Show? All right, let's see. Phil in Indianapolis. Hi there, Phil. Glad to have you with us.
Well, I got a question about more has to do with privacy, like within your own home, and of course, the technology. My ex-wife and I will ask to talk to the kids from time to time, of course, and usually set up like you would a Zoom meeting. My kids will go to their bedroom and call me, or I'll have them call their mom. Mm-hmm. But on occasions, without my knowledge, consent, or anything, she will call the kids. One's 15. He's the one that has his own cell phone. The other child is 6. And she's in my home without me even knowing about it. I have issues with this. I have brought this up to her. I would tell you I've talked to local law enforcement, and they're not willing to do anything about it. And I just want to know what your take was on legality for me protecting my privacy.
So when you're not around, she FaceTimes the kids?
No, I could be home. There was an incident where I believe my daughter talked to her older brother to call mom. I was still asleep. It's early, and next thing you know, my daughter comes in, wakes me up, and my ex-wife is right there on the phone with a camera looking at me sleeping, or waking me up, if you will.
And then you guys share joint custody?
Yes.
50-50
custody.
Do you ever call her?
I always ask for her to have the kids call me.
Okay.
So, she can set them up wherever is comfortable and private, and they'll call me from that spot. And that's usually what I do for her. I would say probably on almost a dozen occasions, she'll just bypass that part and just call them, and then just basically invite herself into our home without me knowing.
You're in a really precarious position, aren't you? I mean, because you want to maintain, you want the kids to have a great relationship with their mom.
Absolutely.
And you want to have a great relationship with the kids. And so you don't want to be like, oh, you can't talk to mom unless she says something to me first. And because then that's going to spark some animosity, maybe, if not now at some point, saying like, well, how come I can't talk to my mom whenever I want to talk to my mom? Why is that?
It makes sense if she's calling and they see her on caller ID that they're going to answer.
Sure.
Right? Yeah,
Exactly. So, what I would do is to maintain some sense of privacy for yourself. Okay. So that if you are sleeping, suddenly you don't see your ex-wife's face. Good morning, honey. Oh, wait, whoa, what was going on there? Right.
Right.
Is I would set up for the kids, I'd go buy a desk and a chair and put a stand on it for their phone and say, from now on, this is the mom corner. And when you talk to your mom, this is where you sit. And you put your phone up here, and here's a charger. And so you can prop your phone up, and you can sit there, and you guys can talk. And so where she's not getting a view of everything that's happening in the house, what the dishes look like in the sink or whatever, right?
Exactly.
And so this way, it's a no judgment zone. And the kids are old enough to understand that. So, the 15-year-old and the 6-year-old, this is where you sit when you talk to your mom. I would love for you to talk to your mom whenever she wants to talk to you guys. But these are the rules. Number one is what happens in the house stays in the house. And number two is that you sit in this chair. And it's a comfortable chair. You're going to like it. I put up some extra lights so you're going to look great. And that's the way that's going to work. Now, the other thing that you could do, too, and it's totally up to you, because I don't know the relationship. And there's always, anytime there's divorce, there's always feelings.
It could be better.
Yeah, exactly. Are you concerned about what she's asking the kids?
No, I would tell you, when I say it could be better, it could be a lot better. So she's always after me and take me to court for various things, which has not panned out very well for her, but she still does it.
Okay. Well, then in that case,
my privacy.
Okay, in that case,
nothing to hide.
Okay, so you put up the chair, your desk and a chair in a certain part of the house. I'm thinking like in a corner, so there's nothing that she can't see anything. Okay. It's just, or you know where I'm talking about. There's someplace in your house that you can do this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, what I would also do, it's up to you if you want to tell the kids, is I would get something like a Nest camera, put it in that room, and set it up so anytime motion or audio is detected, that it automatically records.
I don't believe we're allowed to. So I believe in the state of Indiana, we're not allowed to record conversations between the parents. So if they're, for example, talking to them and they decided, okay, guys, call your mom, and they're going to sit on the couch, I'll go out in the yard and find something to do.
All right. Okay.
And they'll let me know when they're done talking.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the local statutes and state privacy laws, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because if you're not allowed to do it, then you shouldn't do it. But I was just thinking, like, if there was something else going on that maybe you wanted to have a record of, that would be an easy way to do it, because that's the way these cameras work. But again, I would just set up a desk and a chair and some lights in a special part of the house that's only going to be available to these kids and to your ex-wife whenever they want to have a call. So this way, there's not really seeing what else is going on inside the house unless she has to. But I'm glad you did mention that. So, I'm sure that's acceptable for any type of legal consideration. But if you have any questions about that, again, you always got to consult an attorney, because I'm a lot of things, but I am not an attorney. No way. I always hire them. That's what I do. And thanks for your call today, Phil. All right. It's so easy to lose touch with friends and family members. I mean, even when you were super close. But have you ever wondered where they ended up? Okay. You don't have to give up hope. Thanks to the internet and what I'm going to share with you, you may be able to find them again. First, you want to gather up all the basic information that you have. Name, date of birth, last known location, anything you can remember. Now, once you have this list, you want to start using some special online directories to find them. FamilyTreeNow.com is a great free resource. By the way, if you find yourself on it, you want to opt out. FamilyTreeNow.com. And then, of course, you can use Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. They can also be powerful tools for finding lost folks. Just use the search function to find their name or their location. Also, you can dig around on websites like Ancestry and MyHeritage, because maybe they have put up some family trees. Now, these sites have massive databases. All of this will get you one step closer to finding them, unless if they owe you money. Okay, and let me tell you, they don't want to be found then because they want to pay you back. All righty then, still to come, how to set up your smartphone to save your life. You don't want to miss that here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, you tell one person about the Kim Komando Show. That's all. Just one person. And number two, head over to the website at komando.com. There's a link that says Ask Kim, and that's where you can drop me your questions, and we can also set up an appointment for us to chat here on the show. Super fun. All right, Linda in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi there, Linda.
Hey, I love your newsletters and your podcasts, and recently you wrote and talked about radiation when using cell phones,
Correct.
Which was very helpful. My question today is, you had mentioned possibly using earbuds that would be a better route when you're talking on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wondered, is there any radiation when using your earbuds?
You know, that's a really good question because, you know, much like a phone, which we don't want to do, we don't want to put it up to our heads, right?
Correct.
We don't want to put it in our pockets if it's, you know, if you're a guy. I was actually hiking not too long ago and I saw a gal with her iPhone in her sports bra. And I looked at her and I said, you don't know me from Adam, but if I were you, I would never, ever, ever put my phone in my sports bra because, because of the potential radiation. Now, anybody who looks at reports says, yes, there is ionizing radiation, which is like X-rays. And then there are also people who say, you know what, no, it's not. So for every case where there is one, there's always a case that's opposite that says that there is no problem with using it. But I think with earbuds, if we look at guidelines, is that they said that the radiation levels admitted are well below the limits that are safe. But the scientific research is what? Ongoing, right? We don't have any long-term effects of low-level RF radiation on human health. So what I would do is, of course, if you can use wired headphones, that will eliminate all the RF radiation exposure, especially, if you have any type of DNA mutations in your family, this is really serious stuff. Because again, we just don't know.
Right, it's scary.
You want to limit continuous use of wireless earbuds because, and take breaks to reduce the exposure. They say that, Bluetooth technology, it is a low power. The SAR, which is short for the specific absorption rate, which measures the rate at which the body absorbs this RF energy, is considerably lower for Bluetooth devices. But that said, if you can use wired headphones, then if you're concerned about, especially if you have any type of, issues in your family, that it really is something that you really need to take seriously. But, you do have to understand, this is a different type of radiation. Radio frequency radiation, that RF that I mentioned, is a non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation, which is not ionizing radiation, which is X-rays. So,
okay, interesting.
So just, kind of keep that in mind. Is it going to kill you overnight? No. But we still want to make sure moderation is key. Just like we say, moderation is key in having a vodka martini, or
yes,
or wine, or chocolate, or apple pie, or whatever vice that you may have at that given moment. Netflix binging, Candy Crush. I mean, gosh, how many vices do we have in our lives? Crazy stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind. And Linda, thanks for your kind words about the newsletters, folks. If you're not already getting newsletter, make sure that you sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Every day, give me 5 minutes and you will be tech smart. That's right. And I'm going to make you laugh along the way. Trust me, you are going to laugh along the way, at least once or twice. It's fun to read. I had somebody send me a note recently said, you said it would be fun to read, and it's actually fun to read. Yes, tech can be boring, use of big words, intimidating, frustrating, but not the newsletter. Again, you can sign up right now over at getkim.com. Oh, this looks like a great question. A brand new type of laptop. Yeah. Sharon in Asheville, North Carolina.
I do a lot of stuff on the computer, even though I'm retired. And I have my laptop in this whole setup where I've got 2 extra screens. But the setup's getting old, and I was hoping to replace it. And then I was so excited to read about Spacetop. Except when I looked into it, it sounded like it was all online, kind of like a Chromebook. And I live in the mountains. I don't always have internet. So I need something that I can have spreadsheets and documents on my computer. Do you know anything similar to Spacetop that has like VR glasses?
Yeah, I was going to say, just for everybody who doesn't know, Spacetop is a laptop, but instead of having a screen on the laptop, there are some AR glasses. So the whole idea is that you're going to put these AR glasses on, and then you're going to be able to have multiple screens, and then you'll be able to move the mouse through multiple screens and multitask, and you have virtual desktops and all these great things. Spacetop is still under reserve, and it's what we call in the industry sneakernet, meaning like, it's been announced, everybody's excited about it, but when are we going to see it? When can we actually go buy it? Now, the good news is, Sharon, that you can buy AR glasses right now for your laptop. And so you will have like these glasses with this display right across your face. They say it's like going to be about 130-inch screens that you can play around with. They're made by a company called X-Real. I have to tell you, I have not tried them. I've been meaning to try them, but I just haven't had an opportunity to do this yet. But they're smart glasses. They work with, your Android, Mac, PC, all kinds of good things like that. They're not cheap, okay? They are $450. Yeah, $450. So here's what we're going to do. Sharon, we're going to put you on hold, and then we'll go ahead and send you a link so that this way you can check it out. Again, they're called X-Real Air 2 Pro AR glasses. Now, the good news is that if you buy them and they don't work, that you can return them to Amazon, but just make sure that you understand what that return window looks like. And they plug into any standard USB-C port. Again, these are the ones made by X-Real. I haven't tried them. So, Sharon, after you try them, why don't you give me a call back? Let me know what you think. And thanks for your call today. See, and that's the thing with tech. There's always something new coming down the line. We start talking about AR glasses for laptops. It's going to be passé in just about 6 months when we have the whole big Consumer Electronics Show that happens every single year in January, because those glasses are going to be loaded with AI. Of course, AI is going to be all over that show. And of course, I'll tell you more about that when that time comes. See, here's the thing about emergencies. They happen when you least expect them. So imagine this situation. You're unconscious. The only thing you have on you is your phone. Now, if you have medical ID set up properly on your Android or iPhone, someone there can actually get all your important medical details over to first responders so that you can get the care that you need, even if your iPhone is locked. And that's the key. So let's start with Android. To enable your Android emergency ID, you want to go into settings and then emergency information. And there you're just going to enter in all the info that they ask. For your iPhone, you're going to do pretty much the same thing, but you're going to open up the Health app and then tap on the medical ID in the right corner. And you want to plop in as much information as you can, your allergies, your emergency contacts, any medical issues. Put it all in there and save it, and then you're prepared for anything that comes along. Remember, you can always find a person's emergency info on the lock screen if they need help, and now someone can see yours too. Hey, just a quick reminder that I'm giving away that $1,000 vacation gift card. I want you to win it. Yes. So enter right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com.